Outlaws of the Crimson Petal. Chapter 1. Shadows on sagebrush. The sun bled red across the horizon over Cold Creek, setting the sky ablaze in its evening fury. Dust swirled like restless spirits across the stretches of the untamed wilderness that cradled the town in a gritty embrace. Cold Creek stood defiant in the middle of the roaring expanse, a bastion of civilization amidst the wild. Casey James stood at the edge of his parched fields, the soil cracking underfoot like a dehydrated man's plea for water. These same fields were once green with promise and plenty, but now whispered tales of despair as Cold Creek's water turned to a phantom's mirage. "You reckon this is the end," Casey. Casey William Smith's shadow lengthened beside him, a man whose quick draw and quicker wit had earned him the moniker Wild Bill. His eyes, always scanning the horizon, missed nothing, not the shiftless scuttle of the coyote amid the prickly pear, nor the insidious encroach of despair on the townsfolk's faces. Black Sam, muscle solid as his name implied, trudged toward them, a heavy cloud etched upon his face. "Town's dry, Casey. Ain't much hope left. Sheriff Turner's men are taking everything we got." Rosemary Rose Price rode in from the east, a wraith on horseback, the dying sunlight glinting off her saddle. She was a beauty, hard as the steel of her colt, but her eyes held a torment born out of necessity. Each man she faced down, each life taken when pushed beyond reason, left a scar no less real for its invisibility. And with each life, a crimson rose bloomed on a forsaken grave, a signature of regret and resolve. "We ride." Casey's voice was calm but carried the weight of his resolve. "We take back what's ours. We find out who's choking the life out of Cold Creek, and we fight for our land, for our folks, and for justice." The group's eyes met, a silent pact forged in the fires of circumstance. They were landowners, cowboys, keepers of cattle, and tenders of the earth. But the earth was rebelling, or rather, being choked by the grip of a corrupted hand. The transition was not a choice but survival. They were outlaws by necessity. Chapter 2. Guns and Ghost Towns. The tales spread through the towns, from Windy Stand to Devilgate, of a gang of black cowboys and cowgirls, riding not for gold or glory, but for the right to call the land their own again. They were met with suspicion and fear, but also with whispered prayers of those too weak, too downtrodden, or too afraid to stand up to Sheriff Lincoln Turner. Gun battles weren't their wish, but necessity drew their guns like lightning. The crisp reports of gunfire echoing against the canyon walls became the heartbeat of the frontier. With each town they passed Coyote's Rock, Shady Bank, New Lake. Their legend grew, but so did the numbers of the corrupt lawmen on their trail. Every duel won, every skirmish survived, fed the fire of rebellion against the despotism of Sheriff Turner, causing an awakening among the people. And amidst this blooming dissent, the outlaws found not just fear and awe, but alliances forged in gunpowder and solidarity. Chapter 3. The Sheriff's Shadow. Word reached them at last range, a town so named for the innumerable souls who found the end of their journey within its confines. Turner wasn't just a common corrupt sheriff, he was a spider, and Cold Creek and its surroundings, the web. The water supply didn't just dry up, it was diverted, blackmailed into the lining of Turner's pockets, trading liquid life for cold hard coin. "Heartless snake," Snake Sam growled, his massive hands itching for the feel of his peacemaker. Rose's eyes were steeled with a quiet rage. "He'll pay. No grave will hold what's left of him once I'm done." "Steady," Casey warned. "We outgun him, outsmart him. We do this right, or we don't do it at all." Chapter 4. The Crimson Horizon. The final showdown was inevitable. Cold Creek's main street turned into a corridor of death, the townsfolk retreating into the false sanctuary of saloons and shanties, peering through cracked shutters, holding their breaths. Sheriff Lincoln Turner stood before the courthouse, flanked by his lawmen, mercenaries to the core. His smirk was a crescent of venom upon his weathered face. "Come to die Casey James." His voice boomed across the silent town. Casey's answer was silent, a nod was all. His friends stood by his side, fingers restless near the polished grips of their weapons. Then the world exploded in gunfire. Bullets whistled through the air like vengeful wasps. Sam fought like a cornered bear. Wild Bill shots were an artist's strokes, and Rose her guns were the quiet whisper of death. Each shot followed by the silent fall of a rose petal to the dust, and, when the smoke cleared, standing amidst the defeated remnants of tyranny, were the outlaws turned heroes. Sheriff Turner's empire had fallen, the corrupt spider crushed beneath the heel of justice. Chapter 5. Aftermath of Freedom. Coal Creek and the surrounding lands were freed, water flowing like the blood of the earth through the veins of justice restored. The group of black cowboys and cowgirls became the stuff of legend, outlaws in name, but heroes indeed. And though they rode into the sunset, back into their lives of peace and prosperity, their legacy endured. In times of darkness, they were the light. In the silence of oppression, they were the voice. And in the Wild West, where legends were born and died as quickly as the setting sun, they were the eternal outlaws of the Crimson Petal.